May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be pleasing to you, O Lord, our rock and our redeemer. Amen. Please be seated. First of all, I want to welcome my colleague, Chris. Chris is one of our archdeacons in our diocese, and thank you so much for being here on my last Sunday. I know it's a tough Sunday because Chris serves in his own parish in Westwood, and it's a weird time of year for a deacon to leave, so thank you for coming. Okay, so a bishop, a rabbi, and an imam walked into a bar. That actually didn't happen as far as I know. However, it is true that a bishop, a rabbi, and an imam were on the Today Show just 2 days ago, having a conversation about faith and the holidays. And that bishop, by the way, wasn't just any old bishop. It was our very own presiding bishop, the Most Reverend Michael Curry. The three religious leaders were asked questions by the hosts of the Today Show about how to keep the focus on faith during the holiday season. Well, there are so many non-faith-based activities going on. Now, if you've ever heard Bishop Curry speak, you will know that he almost always finds a way to talk about love, and this was no exception. He began by quoting a line from 19th century poet Christina Rossetti, "Love came down at Christmas," which perhaps we remember as a hymn. Christmas reminds us that God showed up. He loves us. God loves us so very deeply that he came to us in human form through the birth of Jesus. And at Christmas time, we are to take in that love, to be very aware of our own belovedness, and take that and love God back, and take that love and love each other deeply. That's how we keep the focus on faith at this time of year, according to Bishop Curry. It's all about love. It sounds so simple and so basic, but we know how hard this is to put into practice. What do you do, one host asked, when you're spending the holidays with people that you don't agree with or you don't even like? You love them, said our bishop. Give them a gift. But why would you do that, the host asked. To paraphrase the bishop's answer, the reason you're giving someone you don't like a gift is to show the goodness in you. It's more about you, that you have goodness in you and you are choosing to shine it out into the world. The rabbi reminded the audience that holidays are often a time of pain and that we might find ourselves lonely or grieving or for a myriad of reasons, just not in a merry mood. When this happens, she said, stop and focus on that still small voice inside of you that is talked about in 1 Kings, in God's revelation to Elijah. And the imam talked about putting your faith into action. During the holidays, he said, try a little bit harder, be a little bit kinder, a little bit more compassionate, and a little bit more loving. Love is a huge part of the holiday season. We just lit the 4th candle on our Advent wreath, the candle that symbolizes love. As Bishop Curry said, God showed up at Christmas. God is with us. Our gospel this morning says, and they shall name him Emmanuel, which means, as you all know, God is with us. God is with us, Emmanuel. Leading up to this, my last Sunday with you, I've been thinking a lot about how God is with us in this holy place. I will carry with me so many memories of how you have shown me that God is here at Emmanuel. Here are just a few memories. Every Sunday when I walk into the parish hall around 7:30, the lights are on, the heat is up, the coffee is percolating, and the whole church is waking up, thanks to one person's loving care for all of us. Without fail, the altar guild has done their job week after week after week and prepared for the Eucharist by making sure that everything is in order. At the 8 o'clock service, or after the 8 o'clock service, I should say, there are almost always freshly baked goods prepared by one parishioner showing her love for her friends. And we have fabulous coffee hours too after the 10 o'clock. In between services, music fills the air as Mike warms up the organ. And then the choir rehearses for the 10 o'clock service. Someone is at home making sure that people who are watching on Zoom or listening can do so. I can go on, and I will. There are bulletins. There are bulletins that have been painstakingly put together by Lisa to make sure that it's easy to follow both services, whether you're at church or you're at home. In addition to what happens on Sunday, there are people during the week in this church that keep the church running to make sure it's clean and in good order. Lisa spends countless hours, not just preparing excellent bulletins, but also managing dozens of other tasks every week. The finances of the church are closely attended to. We have a very talented person who's in the church, Margaret, who puts out the epistle and does other kinds of hospitality that is just amazing. We care for the grounds of this church, and I know many of you have been out raking or shoveling snow or doing whatever we have to do to care for the grounds, and there are parishioners who ensure that our rental properties are in good order. That is no easy task, especially this past year. The vestry meets once a month to conduct the business of the church. That's love. That is hard work, and sometimes you see the underbelly of the church. You don't always see the best sides, and it takes a lot of love to get through some of the things that arise in the vestry meetings. The executive committee of the vestry meets even more often than that. Those are the things that I'm going to remember, as well as the children that come, although few children, they come regularly, and Nikki ministers to them so faithfully. I've enjoyed working with all of the clergy of this church, including you, Manny. You've been just a wonderful bridge priest. And we also experience love outside the church as well. It's been an honor to be able to, at the end of the service, dismiss you to go out in peace to love and serve the Lord. That is my favorite role as a deacon. We do this as a community of faith when we reach out to those of us who are sick or grieving. We express our love by our gifts of Christmas bags, like the 13 that just got put together. Bags that contain items like baked goods and candy and plants and soap and special cards and on and on and on that nurture the bodies and the souls of our friends who might not be able to be with us in church anymore. We also extend our love to those in our community who are vulnerable through regularly donating to the food pantry, to sharing a meal with our friends at Horizon House once a month, to providing meals to the unhoused through Bread of Life. We have collections of money and items. We have a lot of collections right now in Advent and in Lent and throughout the year, both locally and around the world, such as clothing and art supplies for the Ukraine refugees. Surely God is with us, Emmanuel, at Christmas time and all year long. And my parting words to you are those of deep gratitude for all the love that you have shared with me these past 3 years. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thought I'd get through it. My hopes and prayer for you is that you will continue on, be strong, be faithful, love each other, love God, and love those who are most hurting in our world.